to grow accustomed to the light, and at first she had to squint to see. Ghostly shapes and hulking shadows took on new forms now that the darkness was dispelled. A dresser where a lurking presence had been, a chair where previously some nightmarish creature had crouched in wait. The light gave her strength. She absorbed it. She sensed sudden movement behind her and spun around, but there was only a wide fan of dust drifting in the still air, most likely disturbed by her own frantic movements. Nevertheless, she felt uneasy. Was someone in the room with her? Were they skulking somewhere in the shadows, watching even now? She hefted the lamp from the table and turned in a slow circle, considering the room. There was evidence that someone had slept there recently. A heap of scarlet cushions on the floorboards in the far left corner, the faint impression of a human body still evident upon them. Beside these lay a number of discarded food wrappers, cast aside and left for the rodents to nose through at their leisure. Whoever it was, they were clearly accustomed to sleeping rough, although how anyone could sleep at all with the constant chattering of the clocks she did not know. She was beginning to wish that she hadn't come alone. This was not, she told herself, an admission of weakness, but simply a matter of practicality. If anything happened to her here, no one would come looking, or rather, they would have no notion of where to find her. She might end up like one of those missing young women reported with alarming regularity in the Times. Nothing but a brief description and a desperate plea for information, for witnesses, for hope. Or worse, like one of those artifacts announced in the columns of the Lost and Found, misplaced and much lamented, but lost forever to the annals of time. She was adamant that this would not be her fate. She should have left word of her intentions and her whereabouts, but she no longer trusted the men she had once confided in, the men she had once considered incorruptible. Their duplicity had confounded her, had left her with few options of how to proceed. She no longer understood their motivations. There was an irony to be found in that, but she took no comfort from it. Movement again. This time she was sure it was more than just the hands of the clocks describing their ceaseless, monotonous circles. There was another presence in the room. She twisted around sharply, the gas lamp still clutched in her left hand, so that her sudden movement set it rocking wildly back and forth in her grip. One of the shutters snapped closed. Strobing columns of light flickered to and fro as she searched the room, creating stuttering snatches of light and dark, a series of jaunty stills that flashed before her eyes. Her heart was in her mouth. She glanced nervously from side to side. And then she saw it. A glimpse of something half expected, frozen for the briefest of moments as the lamp swung around, framing it, capturing it for a second in its shimmering rays. There was a face in the darkness. It was ghostly white, stark in the orange lamplight, with terrifying black eyes that seemed to bore directly into her. There was accusation in that stare, envy even, as if the woman hated her simply for being alive. The woman's brown hair had been roughly hacked off, short and unkempt, and every inch of her exposed skin had been tattooed with elaborate whirls and eddies, with runic symbols and arcane pictograms. Thin traceries of precious metals had been inlaid in the soft flesh of her cheeks, glinting with reflected light. One moment the face was there, the next it had gone, swallowed by the gloom as the lamp continued its pendulous motion, swinging back and forth, back and forth. She braced herself, fighting panic, and raised the lamp in the vague hope that she might catch another glimpse of her quarry. She had come here in search of answers, but instead she had happened upon this murderess, the woman they had hunted through the mist-shrouded alleyways of London, from crime scene to exhibition hall, from the revenant-infested slums to the splendour of Buckingham Palace itself. But now, somehow, she felt like she was the prey. It was as if their roles had been reversed, as if by coming here to this half-ruined hotel with its ticking clockwork heart, she had altered the relationship between hunter and hunted. She felt the ghost of movement to her left, of disturbed air currents brushing past her cheek.